Hello, and welcome back to the simulated 2024 F1 World Championship. This is round number 14 of 24 from Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. It's the last race before the summer break, and we head to one of the most iconic circuits on the F1 calendar. It's a shame that F1 seem to want to get rid of it, but here's hoping the adoration for this track keeps it on the calendar for many years to come. Here's how the drivers' standings shape up after last time out at Hungary. Max Verstappen retains his championship lead despite a poor showing at the Hungaroring, with Tsunoda failing to capitalise on Max's troubles and only closing the gap by 4 points. Leclerc is beginning to be pressured by Norris for P3, with Hamilton not too far behind the pair of them. Alonso falls further behind his former McLaren teammate in P6, with Perez still nipping at his heels in P7. There's a close fight between Sainz and Piastri for 8th, with Albon rounding up the top 10. As for the constructors, Red Bull see their lead to Ferrari shrink down to 16 points, with McLaren making gains and pushing themselves into the top 3, leapfrogging RB. Mercedes are comfortable in 5th, with Aston Martin slipping further back in 6th. Sauber have a nice even 100 points in 7th, and Alpine and Williams are still dueling over 8th. Haas remain in last, not too far behind the pair in front of them. Compared to the actual standings, Verstappen sees his lead over Norris go down slightly despite some controversy at the Hungarian GP, with the Ferrari drivers of Leclerc and Sainz holding station in 3rd and 4th respectively. Piastri closes in on the Ferrari pair with his win at Budapest, and Hamilton jumps ahead of Perez and his teammate Russell after another strong showing. The two Astons of Alonso and Stroll continue to round up the top 10. As for the constructors, Red Bull's advantage has gone down to 51 points over McLaren, who jump ahead of Ferrari in the standings thanks to their 1-2 finish last time out. Mercedes are a long way in front of Aston Martin in P4, and RB and Haas are still in a close battle for P6. Alpine and Williams still occupy P8 and P9 respectively, and Sauber are still the only team to have 0 points to their name. Now it's time to find out who will be racing as for the Belgian GP. Magnussen has been removed from the wheel, leaving only 7 drivers left to be selected. Without further ado, let's spin the wheel and find out who we shall be racing as around Spa. And we are given Pierre Gasly in the Alpine. Alpine, like their real-life counterparts, are in a close battle with Williams down the lower end of the championship table. Can we swing the advantage in the French team's favour? It's time for the Belgian Grand Prix.
Welcome to the behemoth that they value so highly. This is Spa, it's high speed, it is really challenging. We have elevation, we have dramatic corners, and we have one driver in a few moments' time who will take pole position.
And here we are in the Alpine garage as Pierre Gasly at Spa-Francorchamps, one of my favourite circuits on the calendar actually. I do love driving around this track a lot. As we move straight on to the end of our Q1 lap here, very sunny weather currently, which is very good, allows us to set a pretty clean lap. But we don't end up in P1 for once, we actually end up in P3 at the end of Q1, which is still good enough to get into Q2. And we've lost from Q1, our teammate Esteban Ocon in the Alpine, Hulkenberg in the Haas, Sargent in 18th place in the Williams, Kevin Magnussen in 19th in the other Haas, and then Lance Stroll is in last in his Aston Martin. So not too many big shocks this time around in Q1. Perez isn't out in Q1 for once in his life, but nonetheless we move on to Q2 now. As you can see, it's actually started to rain around the track, which is going to compromise some people. It hasn't compromised us though, as we got out just in time. We set the fastest lap of Q2 so far, and with that lap we should easily make it through to Q3, and we do. And we've lost Charles Leclerc. Max Verstappen is out in Q2. Our championship leader is out, 12th place for him. Carlos Sainz and the other Ferrari, both Ferraris out in Q2. Daniel Ricciardo also out in 14th, and Valtteri Bottas also out in the kick Sauber as well. Zhou Guanyu actually coming second there. Very good result. Very good lap there for him. But yeah, Max Verstappen, the championship leader, out in Q2, only starting 12th. He had a very poor showing at the Hungaroring last time after the front wing incident at turn 1, and his team refusing to fix it for whatever reason, but again, he's going to have to work his way up if he wants to get some points here. As for us, we're running through Q3 now. Again, Very grey skies. It has stopped raining since last time, but it does look like the rain is coming back. Another shower possibly coming over the track as we head down the Kemmel Straight. And we actually see it's actually starting to rain now, in fact. You can see it on the car. It is raining again, so we need to get our lap time done as quickly as possible. Thankfully, we set first sector that's 1.4 seconds ahead of Piastri in 6th there, so we got a very good first sector going at least. Hopefully we can keep it up for the rest of the lap as we come up to No Name Corner here. I believe it's called No Name. It might actually have a name now, I don't know. I haven't kept up to date on this track really, but I do know that the next couple of corners is called Puon. We're heading through those right now, keeping within the limits. Very good stuff. We did have to lift a little bit through the corner, but that's okay. As long as we don't run out too wide. You can see the raindrops on the screen now. So the track is going to get wetter. Hopefully the soft tyres can hold on for the rest of the lap. We're at the end of Sector 2. Setting the time 2.2 seconds ahead of Piastri now. So we're looking very good for the top spot in qualifying again. But anything can change in F1. Well, I say anything can change. I just realised everyone is still in the pits. So not sure what's going on there, but we are setting a very good lap time, which should be good enough for provisional pole as we head for the bus stop chicane for the end of the lap. It is the longest lap on the calendar. Open the DRS, our deploy has been used, but that's fine. We set a lap time of 1:44.496, which is absolutely good enough for provisional pole. And good enough for pole in general. So there we go. Pierre Gasly is on pole for the Belgian Grand Prix. We've got Alexander Albon second in the Williams. That's a very good qualifying result for him there. Sergio Perez with one of his best qualifyings in a while is P3. Hamilton P4 in the Mercedes. Tsunoda 5th in the RB. Probably could have done a little bit more considering Verstappen's down in 12th, but I guess he can't complain too much. We've got the two McLarens on Norris and Piastri 6th and 7th. Zhou is 8th. Russell is 9th. And Alonso rounds up the top 10. And there we go. Qualifying is done. Gasly and Albon on the front row. The former Red Bull drivers taking the front row with the current Red Bull driver behind them. And now it's time for the Belgian Grand Prix.
It is time to take a step back into the golden days of motor racing. Spa is a throwback, and all the better for it. We have climbs, dips, sharp turns, chicanes, and sweeping, magnificent high-speed corners, all while taking in the Ardennes Forest. Welcome to Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. 19 corners, 4.3 miles or 7 kilometers. There's over 100 meters of elevation change here, with long stretches of the lap spent flat out. Look out for the bus stop chicane, the final challenge before the temporary relief of the start-finish straight. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Pierre Gasly lines up on pole position, and Alex Albon lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Zhou, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz, Ricciardo, Bottas, Ocon, Hülkenberg, Sargent, Magnussen, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me is Anthony Davidson. Now, those final hours before a race, did you have a routine?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Man, they really love talking about their pre-race routines, don't they? I think that's like the 3rd, 4th, maybe 5th race in a row. I think every single race we've done in F1 24, they've had the same intro. Apparently they've fixed that now in the latest update, but I'll be the judge of that. Nonetheless, we're on the grid here for the Belgian Grand Prix with Pierre Gasly. Looking at my strategy, soft to medium looks good, but as you can see on the top right, the rain could be coming back later on in the race. So hopefully this doesn't backfire on me too much, but Nonetheless, we start on the softs. It looks like Albon's also starting on the softs. Most of the grid's actually starting on the softs, with 5 drivers starting on the mediums. Tsunoda, Piastri, Zhou, Russell and Alonso all starting on the medium tyres. But then again, just because most of us are starting on soft doesn't mean we're all going to be on the same strategy. As you saw, there were 2 different strategies there. We had the 1-stop and the 2-stop. So some people in the grid maybe choosing to do the 2-stop, as you can see there, down there, at the bottom of the screen. We went with the 1-stop, but it could be that Albon, Perez, could be that they do 2-stop potentially. Who knows at this point? Let's see. We've got 44 laps here. The laps are very long, but the short amount of laps means this race shouldn't take too long unless the rain comes along near the end of the race. We shall see as Stroll lines up on the grid in his grid box in last. And there we go. As we move on now to 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go for the Belgian Grand Prix. We do get a good start, but Albon also gets a good start as well. He probably try to go around the outside here or get traction coming out of La Source here as we head down to Eau Rouge and Raidillon. He actually gets the slipstream behind us and pulls alongside us going to Eau Rouge and Raidillon. This is going to be brave from Albon as we go up the hill there. Side by side, we somehow didn't make contact. And Albon actually loses out to Hamilton in that melee, and Hamilton actually comes down on us at the end of not the end, in the middle of the Kemmel Straight. That's the straight name. That was a mess of commentary. But yeah, we get to the end of the Kemmel Straight. We hold off Hamilton, who has definitely made some gains, getting ahead of Albon and Perez. So Hamilton out to P2, and yes, yeah, not really much else happening there. We've got a few movers. Verstappen actually moving down a couple of places from 12th to 14th. Ferrari's in 11th and 12th. Stroll moving up ahead of Magnussen, getting himself off of last. As we actually went very wide for Poo on there, so hopefully no one dobs us out on that one. But yeah, we still hold on to the lead for now. The McLarens of Norris and Piastri, I think, have both made spots. Tsunoda's actually fallen down to 7th. Not good news for him. He definitely needs to make as many points as he can get, considering Verstappen's position right now. As we move to the beginning of lap 2, we see a battle going on between Ocon and Sargent for P17. Going side by side through La Source, heading down towards Eau Rouge and Raidillon. They're still side by side, none of them willing to give up. Sargent seems to have the straight line speed, but they're still going side by side through Eau Rouge and Raidillon. Oh my goodness, how have they avoided contact? They're still side by side going onto the Kemmel Straight. Oh, they're going to outdrag each other. Who's got the DRS? I think it's Ocon who has the DRS. And Stroll looking around behind them, trying to make it free wide going into the chicane. And Ocon does hold on to 17th place, but Stroll actually gets past Sargent up into P18. So Sargent actually losing out there, being the biggest loser there in that scrap for P17. As we see Tsunoda now, who seems to be going very slow up Eau Rouge and Raidillon. That's a very poor place to go slow. He probably could have pulled off to the side there. He didn't need to go up the hill, but he is pulling over. There was smoke coming out the engine. And Tsunoda is our first retirement of the Belgian Grand Prix. Very disappointing for him, considering where Verstappen is right now. Tsunoda needed as many points as he can get, but the car has failed him, unfortunately. So no points for Tsunoda this time out. As we see Norris now going down the Kemmel Straight, passing Perez for P4 on lap 5. Perez kind of falling down the order here. He doesn't seem to have much pace in that Red Bull, which is... I'm not sure whether that's surprising or not. But a few laps later, he's even down now to P7 and is under attack by Zhou in the Kick Sauber. And Zhou, like Norris, just breezes on past Perez into P7. Perez, despite having an amazing qualifying, is really not doing well in the race. He seems like his car was more suited for qualifying than the race pace. As we see Albon coming in on lap 12, definitely doing the 2-stopper here, because he's not going to make softs or mediums last to the end, let's be honest. And we see Perez actually coming in as well for his pit stop. So we got some people coming in for the 2-stop strategy. Albon going on to mediums, it looks like. I think Perez does the same. But there is no way those mediums are going to last for 30-odd laps. So, yeah, they're definitely going to have to come in again before the end of this race. as we see ourselves going through Prix.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
And we got rain in 10 minutes, which could play into the hands of the two stoppers, considering that everyone's going to need to pit in, and the two stoppers now have much fresher tyres. It could play into their hands if they can overtake the long train of cars that is currently going through Prix right now. So yeah, we got a decision to make. Our pit stop is on lap 20, but I decide, since the rain is coming, I'm going to pit in a couple of laps earlier, get on the mediums, and try and use the pace advantage on the new tyres to hopefully give ourselves a bit of an advantage going into the next phase of the race. Of course, this could backfire. It could end up being that the rain never arrives, but I decided to take the risk, and also I feel like I can do 20 odd laps on the mediums, even if it doesn't rain. So I feel like it's not really much of a losing situation. I am going to be down on the field. I actually come out in P10, it looks like. P11, just behind Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. So yes, I've got some overtaking to do, but I'm on much fresher tyres now. So hopefully I can do some overtaking. We're going to start off our overtaking spree with Max Verstappen down the Kemmel Straight. We pull alongside, breeze on past Verstappen, and our overspeed actually allows us to catch up to Charles Leclerc. We dart up to the outside on the chicane. We actually make up 2 places within a span of like 5 to 10 seconds. Our overspeed really helping us out there. Full battery, full DRS. We end up taking 2 positions on the Kemmel Straight instead of 1. We're up to P9 ahead of Leclerc and Verstappen. Next target on the list is Ricciardo in the RB. Not many overtaking opportunities where I am, so I decided to follow him for a little while going through Prix here. I'm literally pushing him. I'm right up his gearbox, pushing him along. That's how much of a speed advantage I got, and I decided to make the move into the next chicane here, and it's easy enough. Ricciardo gives me plenty of room. I'm up to P8 now on lap 19. And you gotta remember, everyone in front of me still needs to pit, but they might hold on for the hold off for the rain, potentially, which could put us at a bit of a disadvantage. But at the end of lap 19, I make a move on Russell, actually, going out of the bus stop chicane going into La Source. I head around the outside of Russell, bit of overspeed there, nearly crashed into the back of Sainz, actually, but I do avoid contact, and we move up to P7. Going down the hill here to Overage and Radion once more. On lap 20, we got Sainz and Zhou ahead of us now. These are the next 2 cars on our list. Again, our grip and overspeed allow us to get past Sainz pretty easily. And we also make the move on Zhou as well. And Sainz also makes the move on Zhou. Zhou losing 2 spots in the space of like a couple of seconds. And we gain 2 spots in a couple of seconds. So we're now up to P5. We got Hamilton, the 2 McLarens of Piastri and Norris. And Piastri actually pitting in now. We actually had a few pit stops come in. And these are the cars that actually started on the mediums, so they're actually going on to hards for the remainder of the race. But the rain is still coming, so this could end up backfiring for the medium runners. But they are doing the 1 stop. If the rain doesn't arrive, then it could be a good gamble. But nonetheless, they come out the pits now, Piastri and whatnot, and they're on their merry way. As we see Hamilton get past Albon for P2. Albon coming in pretty early, remember, because of his 2-stop strategy. And because of everyone else pitting in for the 1-stop, now they have the pace advantage. So Albon going to be losing a few spots, as we see Verstappen now overtaking his teammate, Sergio Perez. Perez definitely not having a good race today, considering his teammate, who started 9 positions down, I think, has just overtaken him. And you can see on the camera, the rain has actually started to arrive. The rain is now coming down considerably, and we are losing a lot of time on the medium tyres with 12 laps to go. And
alright, we're getting very close to the crossover point now. Stay out if you have the pace, but as soon as you hit the limit, come in and we'll put the inters on. Right, we're no longer sure that these tyres are the right ones. It might be time to come in and change.
Yeah, I asked my engineer about the tyre situation, and he actually recommends I change onto the intermediate tyres. So I decide to, at the end of lap 32, make my 2nd stop of the day to go onto intermediates. So yeah, I'm making a bit of a call. The engineers made a bit of a call as well. We decided to come in to make the change to intermediates. I was losing a lot of time on these dry tyres, so I figured the call was right. I come in for the intermediates. As you can see, Hamilton also coming in. Same with Norris as well. So the AI also agree Then now is the time for the intermediates, and as you can see, race control has disabled DRS, which definitely means the track is too wet for dry tyres. So we definitely made the right call for the intermediates, as we kind of drift out the exit of the pit lane there. But no positions lost because everyone's pitting in as well. Lap 33 of 44, we're 3/4 of the way through the race. The rain has arrived. Again, a bit squirrely. Getting a bit squirrely through Eau Rouge and Radion there, but we got everyone else coming in. Esteban in the pits as well. Lap 35 of 44. Despite DRS being disabled, Ricciardo having a look now at Leclerc for P9 and actually makes the move going into the chicane potentially. Leclerc trying to hold on, but Ricciardo just giving enough room, squeezing him out and getting the move down. Ricciardo, the sole remaining RB, is now at the P9. Very good overtake there from Ricciardo. As we're on lap 36, you can see now the rain is coming down.
This heavy rain will be with us for a while now. Inters seem to be the fastest tyre for now.
The rain is coming down heavily, but my engineer still says that the intermediates are the best tyre, but I'm not too sure about that. I'm not very sure.
I know these conditions look pretty terrible, but that water is draining okay. I think the intermediate is going to stay the tyre of choice for a while yet.
And yeah, I keep asking my engineer about the tyre situation. He's still saying inters are good for now, but I'm not so sure. I feel like I'm losing positions, losing pace here.
Heavy rain will be staying with us for a while now. At least a 20-minute window of heavy rain. Full wets seem like the best tyre for now.
And yeah, on the next lap I ask again, and he says the wets are now going to be the best tyre. So I decide to make a bit of a risky call here and decide to come in one more time for the full wets. He did say that 20 minutes of heavy rain is expected, so I figured that the full wets would probably be the best tyre for the end of the race. It really depends on whether everyone else decides to pit in for the full wets or not, but nonetheless, I do make the call. I pull into my pit box, get on the full wets, and along we go for our final stint of the race. But no one else is coming in. Hamilton and Norris, Albon, Alonso all staying out on track, which is definitely going to put us a bit of disadvantage now because Hamilton actually overtakes us coming out the pit exit here. Hamilton now takes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. Hopefully with the wet weather tyres we can breeze past him. But it looks like the Inters still have some pace. But I did have more grip coming out of Eau Rouge and Radion. Norris is actually just right behind us. But we do activate our battery, which we've been saving a lot. Norris trying to overtake us going down the Kemmel Straight. I decide to cover him off. And then I brake a little bit later going into the chicane. Hamilton leaves me enough room. I go around the outside and I retake the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. And I'm hoping to pull away now with the full wet tyres and the heavy rain conditions. But as you can see, I'm struggling with the wet weather tyres actually. They're not coming up to speed. And a lap later, I have really not made any dent in the gap. In fact, the gap
forecast suggests the rain's going to be lightening up over the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. You should start finding more grip as we clear the standing water.
Well, that's not good for us. That means the intermediates are definitely going to come into play here. And as you can see, Hamilton's actually closing the gap to us. As we move on to lap 41, he's actually right behind us now, heading towards the end of lap 41, heading down this section here before the bus stop. Hamilton clambering behind us. Norris also clambering behind the pair of us. Norris looking to win this race as well. We've got a three-way fight for the win of this race. I'm on the wrong tyre. Hamilton and Norris are on the right tyre. I brake for the bus stop chicane, and Norris actually makes a very daring move down the inside of the penultimate corner going around the outside of the final corner, and Norris actually makes the move on Hamilton. Hamilton getting caught out by my braking there. Hamilton actually moves down to P3. Norris up to P2. So Norris is our closest competitor moving into the last part of this race. I'm clearly on the wrong tyres. Norris actually trying to make a move on the outside of the bus stop chicane, but I parked myself in the middle of the road. So I prevent him from getting the move done, covering off there on the inside. As we move on to the final lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. And actually Albon now has joined in the party as well. This is a four-way fight for the win. As we head now into last source for the final time, I'm on the wrong tyres. The three cars behind me are absolutely on the right tyres. The rain has definitely died down to a light rain conditions, which means the intermediates are absolutely the best tyre, but I'm still holding on to the lead for now. But can I hold on to the lead for one more lap ahead of Norris, Hamilton and Albon? Norris tried to make a move down the Kemmel Straight. I parked myself up in the middle of the track. Norris tried to go around the outside, going into the chicane. I cover him off, brake a little bit later. and I get rid of that threat for now, but there's still plenty of time in the lap for Norris to make the move and win the Belgian Grand Prix. And even then, Hamilton and Albon could still take away the podium from me even, going through this last lap. So I'm definitely under immense pressure here. I definitely should not have come in for wet tyres. I should have stayed on the intermediates. It definitely would have been a much more comfortable victory if I had stayed on the intermediates. But at the moment, it's looking like I might not even get the victory at all as we head through Pouhon for the final time. Norris still looking around, still can't make the move stick. I'm putting my car in the right places on the track, preventing him from overtaking here as we go through the chicane at the end of Sector 2 here. And we've only got like one more sector to go, but it is a very long run to the bus stop chicane, which gives Norris, Hamilton and Albon plenty of time to slipstream and maybe make a last gasp move into the bus stop chicane to take the victory away. So I save up all the battery I can. I deploy it all this way down the straight. Norris is only just under 2/10 behind me. And Hamilton and Albon could even take some positions as well. So we head to the bus stop for the final time. Will any of them make a move going into the chicane? None of them do. So we come out the final bus stop chicane. We just hold on to the victory. It's going to be Pierre Gasly who wins the Belgian Grand Prix.
Yes! That's what we're talking about!
What an intense end to the race that was. That was incredible. Norris takes P2, Hamilton P3, Albon P4. Magnussen's driver of the day, but nonetheless, it's Gasly and Alpine who take the victory.
Pierre Gasly takes a superb win.
They led from lights out to the flag at the end, and their race victory was never in doubt, was it? Brilliant stuff by them.
As today's winners make their way up the podium steps, the folks at Alpine have shown once again just what it takes to build a successful Formula One team. A well-deserved win for them.
I don't know where Crofty appeared from, and I don't know where the rain's come from. It's suddenly clear skies again, but kind of weird stuff there at the end, Crofty making a cameo. But there we go, Gasly takes the win for Alpine, which definitely is going to help them in their battle with Williams for P8 in the Constructors. They may even move closer to Sauber, actually, in P7. Norris taking P2 once again, Hamilton P3. I'm sure Norris will probably not enjoy being P2 once again, but nonetheless he is there. And there we go, the full classified standings after 44 laps of the Belgian Grand Prix. Pierre Gasly is our race winner, taking the fastest lap as well, so maximum points for him. We've got two Brits of Norris and Hamilton, P2 and P3. Albon just behind them, missing out on the podium after starting in P2. I'm sure he'd be a bit disappointed with that. Alonso moving up from 10th to 5th, very good result for him. Piastri in 6th, Carlos Sainz in 7th, Verstappen moving up to 8th, getting a few points. Ricciardo in 9th, and Sergio Perez after starting in P3. Disappointing race for him, he finishes P10. As for the rest of the finishers, we got George Russell just missing out on points in P11, Charles Leclerc in 12th, Bottas 13th, Stroll in 14th, our teammate Esteban Ocon 15th, Zhou Guanyu is 16th, Magnussen 17th, his teammate Hulkenberg in 18th, and the last of the classified finishers was Logan Sargent in P19. And we had one retirement, which was Yuki Tsunoda in the RB. And there we go, that is the Belgian Grand Prix done, and now we're into the summer break, so no racing for about a month here. No more F1 videos going to be on my channel for about a month. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the little break you got from the F1 content. If you don't like the F1 content, I'm sure if you like the F1 content, the break's going to be a bit annoying. But hey-oh. Next race is the Dutch Grand Prix. The first race after the summer break, it's the Dutch Grand Prix. That'll be in 4 weeks' time. So I believe that is either the 23rd or the 30th of August, 2024. I believe it's the 23rd. I may be wrong. But the Dutch Grand Prix video will go out on either the 23rd or the 30th of August. It's going to be one of those 2 Fridays anyway. Not too sure, probably should have looked up beforehand. I'm pretty sure it's the 23rd. So, yeah. You've got a long while to wait for the Dutch Grand Prix. That's Verstappen's home race. He's probably going to do very well there. But, Yes, 23rd of August, that is what I'm sure it is. I'm, well, 90% sure it is. Hopefully look forward to that for the Dutch Grand Prix around Zandvoort. As for the standings after the Belgian Grand Prix, Max Verstappen is now 7 points ahead of Lando Norris, who jumps up to P2. So the top two in the standings in the simulator season are identical to the real season, going into the summer break potentially. Yuki Tsunoda moving down to P3 after his retirement. I'm sure he'd be bitterly disappointed with that. Hamilton in P4 still, only 3 points behind Tsunoda. Leclerc moving down to P5 on 129 points. Alonso 6th with 96 points. Gasly moving up to P7. He shoots up the order into P7 with 88 points. Oscar Piastri 8th with 84 points after a good result from him. Sainz in 9th with 83, and Sergio Perez moves down to 10th position with 81 points. With Albon actually being in 11th, tied on points in fact. As for the constructors, Red Bull now are only 4 points ahead of McLaren. 1, 2, and 3 identical to the real season in fact. McLaren 4 points behind Red Bull, 12 points ahead of Ferrari now, who moved down to P3. RB remain in 4th. Mercedes are now only 9 points behind RB in 5th. Aston Martin in 6th. Sauber remain in 7th, but Alpine now only 2 points behind them with 98 points. Williams, despite getting a 4th place with Albon, they move further behind Alpine with 81 points, and Haas are still in last with 52 points to their name. And there we go, that is the Belgian Grand Prix done and dusted. Hopefully you enjoyed this race. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, get that engagement going. And as I said, next race, 4 weeks time, after the summer break, it's the Dutch Grand Prix. I believe it's a triple header actually, the Dutch Grand Prix. And no, it's a double header, not triple header. Did I say double? I can't remember. It's a double header of the Dutch and the Italian Grand Prix. Not a triple header as I thought. But yeah, very good stuff. As I said, hopefully you enjoyed this race. It was a fun one, took some risks, didn't kind of backfired a little bit, but we did get the W in the end. So that's all that matters. I'm sure Alpine will be very happy. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you all next time.